It's time for ROTD weekend. It is very surreal that my oldest child is graduating from high school and he turned 18 like he is an adult, doing adult things even out in the world. He drives now, he goes to parties and hangs out with people. He doesn't necessarily tell me his plans. I do ask that he let me know if he's going to be home for dinner. But yeah, he's got this whole other life going on, and that also involves graduating from high school. So I will be honest with you and say that I haven't yet decided, or we haven't yet decided, what we're doing to celebrate his graduation. We have talked to a few people who want to hang out and be with us on this special day, and we just haven't decided if we're going to go out for lunch, all of us together, or have everybody over here. But you know me, just on the off chance that everybody is coming over here, I have already started pulling together my menu ideas. I want to be ready when we decide, because it's only just a couple of weeks away. So I guess we really do need to decide soon. But the decision has not been made about where we'll be eating and whether I will be making the food or somebody else will. But if it's me, I know what I am making already. So I thought I'd tell you about it. If you have anybody graduating in your life, high school or college or anything else, you could do this menu. Or, it's just a great summer cookout menu. Or you don't have to cook anything outside really, but just a great spring or summer menu that is all make ahead, super easy and super crowd pleasing. Now, before I continue, I'm just going to apologize about the sound. There has been somebody pressure washing and doing something else very loud outside of my house all day today, and I've been waiting to record until they stopped, and it's quite late in the day. This is Friday. This is supposed to go live tomorrow morning, Saturday. And yeah, I've been waiting and they finally stopped, and so I started recording and now they have started again. I will do my best to edit the sound out. Maybe you won't hear it and you'll just think I'm talking about nothing right now, but if I don't manage and you are hearing it now, I apologize. There's nothing I can do. Okay, so we're going to move on to this graduation menu, and I will link to all of these recipes in the show notes for this podcast episode. I will tell you that most of them are on cookthestory.com. One of them is on the Cookful in case you're going there and searching. So my idea behind this menu is that people are going to be making their own pulled chicken or pulled pork sandwiches. You can do both for the variety or just choose one. So you will make ahead your pulled chicken or your pulled pork or both according to the recipes that I'm linking to. And the best thing to do is to shred those while they're still warm because they just shred better. And then you can refrigerate them and you're just going to heat them up when you're reheating them. The best thing to do actually is before you refrigerate them, any of the juices that came out of them while cooking, you can separate that out. So separate the meat from the juices and then keep the juices in a refrigerated container as well. And then your chicken and your pork are in a container. And then when it's time to reheat, you drizzle the meat with those little bits of juices, cover it, microwave it, or do it in a low oven just till it's heated through. And the moisture from those liquids is going to, add moisture, but it also isn't diluting with water flavor because it's those nice meaty juices, Okay, so you have your meat in the fridge. You get some nice dinner rolls, buns, whatever you would like to have these sandwiches be on. Split them open ahead of time so that those are all done. Nobody has to be trying to split a bun while holding a styrofoam plate. That's just very difficult to do. So split all those buns and put them back into the bag they were in, twist tie back on, but now they are split unless you bought them already split, like a hamburger bun often comes already split. And now your bread is ready. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make a delicious coleslaw, and that coleslaw is going to be served alongside your sandwiches so people can put the coleslaw themselves into their sandwich. And some people are going to have it beside, right? They're going to have their pulled pork and they're going to have their coleslaw beside it, but they can build their pulled chicken or pulled pork sandwiches with the coleslaw or have it on the side. So I'm going to link to my best creamy coleslaw recipe, which is my mom's recipe that has the pickle juice and the horseradish in it. But I'm also going to link to my coleslaw for fish tacos recipe because it has just a lot of great flavors in it. There's no fish in there, but it's like cilantro and lime and yeah, maybe a little jalapeno. I can't remember. Well, I just went and opened the recipe so I can look for you so I can remember. Yeah, so it's got mayonnaise, sour cream, lime juice, some chipotle and adobo, so a little smoky and a little hot, but not too hot. There's garlic powder in there and then some cilantro and green onion. So just lots of nice flavors, and that's really great in those sandwiches as well. And then I have another recipe that is called coleslaw for with pulled pork, and that one is like a recipe that I created specifically to serve with pulled pork because it has brown sugar in it, which is so nice with the pulled pork, and lots of garlic powder. So yeah, just like a really, really great flavor contrast and match for the pulled pork, right? So I am linking to all three of those coleslaw recipes for you, but you would just do one of them, not all three. And then so people, like I said, can make their own sandwiches using the coleslaw and the meat. If you wanted to, you can also put out some sliced onions, some sliced pickles, tomatoes, things like that. But you don't really have to because the coleslaw is like a really good veg, right? And then for side dishes, you're gonna do a delicious creamy potato salad. Now here you also have two options. There's a really basic creamy potato salad. It's my mom's recipe. I love it. I am like literally addicted to it. I can't not eat it by the spoonful when it's in the fridge, like fridge door open style, you know? So there's that one. And then I have another one that's called a loaded baked potato salad. It doesn't use baked potatoes, but it has the ingredients of a baked potato. And this one has sour cream for half of the like mayonnaise. And I do this one quite often because Marty doesn't like mayonnaise based salads as much. So this one has the sour cream and it's got green onions and bacon and cheese. So it's a nice, fun, different potato salad. So you do one of those two, and then you've got your like carbohydrate kind of thing covered, and it is gluten-free as well. So if somebody's not having the bread for the sandwich and not having the next side dish that I'm going to talk to you about, they can have the potato salad, right? And I'll just say that if there are vegetarians coming, then I would omit the bacon from the potato salad. Then they can't have the pulled chicken or the pulled pork, but they can have the buns, they can have the potato salad, they can have the coleslaw, and they can have the next thing that I'm going to tell you about. I would say, I think if I was having vegetarians coming to a dinner like this, I would probably either do like a bean salad or some deviled eggs. And then there's definitely a protein for them as well. Okay. And then there's one more side dish. This is the Italian rotini pasta salad. This one's inspired by the Olive Garden, just their tossed salad, but it has the pasta mixed in. So it's kind of doing double duty as both a salad and another like a little bit heavier side dish, right? Because of the pasta. And then you can choose how much of the vegetables versus pasta you put. The only thing to really know about this recipe, I said everything was make ahead. This one is, but it actually has croutons and lettuce in it. So you don't add those ahead of time because they're both going to get really like soggy. So everything else can go in ahead of time, and then you add the lettuce and the croutons last. Now, if you didn't want to do a pasta salad, if you think your bases are covered with the potato salad and the bread as your carbohydrate, then I would say just do a big bowl of Olive Garden style salad, right? You just have all the lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, red onion. You can put those jarred pepperoncini peppers in there, and they're big, so if people don't want them, they can pull them out or serve them on the side. Same thing with the olives. I would maybe do the black olives on the side so that if people don't want them, they don't have to have them, or you can put them in there and people can pick them out. So it's just a nice big salad. And that's pretty much the dinner. Really easy, really make ahead. I guess you would need some kind of dessert for this kind of thing. I do like to do some watermelon and maybe ice cream cones. Do you know how much everybody just likes ice cream cones? You get some of those sugar cones or plain ice cream cones, a couple kinds of ice cream, let people scoop themselves, and people are going to be really happy with that. Okay, I will put all the links to these recipes in the show notes for this podcast episode. Or if you search for Christine Pittman, followed by any of the names of the recipes I said, you usually find where they're located because they're either on cookthestory.com or thecookful.com. So that is the best way to do it. When I come back, I'm going to be telling you what I'm making for dinner tonight. My kids get back from their dads and I want to make a nice fun treat. That is coming up right after the break. So back years ago when I was getting divorced, the mediator that we had told us that in her experience from working with a lot of families, the Friday is the best day for kids to change houses over what a lot of families do, which is the Sunday. And the reason is that that gives you your like weekend fun time together, relaxing together time before the like grueling week ahead. And then when you've had that grueling week, then you split up and change who you're with again at the end of that. And I will say it has actually been very successful, and Friday has become like my favorite day of the week because I get to see my kids after not seeing them for 7 days. And so I'm very excited. They are coming back today, and it really has become like a celebration day for us. They come here on Friday. I have just stocked the fridge with new food because there's going to be more people in the house. And so everything is like fresh and exciting and good. I usually put some music on and I make something special because I'm feeling special. Tonight, I am trying something brand new. Or at least sort of brand new. So I am going to tell you what I'm planning to do, not something that I have already done. And I guess I'll report back on whether it works or not. So I am doing bacon wrapped shrimp, which I have done many times before, but in a style like we had when we were in Mexico recently. They're often called like Diablo shrimp, or, you know, way back years ago when I used to go to Puerto Vallarta with my parents, there was a restaurant that had them and they called them Especial shrimp. So basically, it is shrimp that are kind of butterflied through the back, and then there's cheese, sometimes also ham, sometimes also a bit of jalapeno, sort of wedged into there, and then you wrap bacon around it. Then they're skewered quite often, so you get a few on a skewer. So when we were in Mexico, everybody loved these shrimp. My son ordered them a whole bunch of times. I know my daughter and I shared a plate of them at like a pool bar one day, so everybody liked them, and I have decided that tonight I'm going to try to make them myself. Now, if you've heard me talk about bacon wrapped shrimp before, and I definitely have, I will actually link to my bacon wrapped shrimp recipe. That recipe has a version for the oven and for the air fryer. But what I usually do is I start with frozen shrimp, peeled and deveined, tail on or off, doesn't matter, because sometimes it's nice to have that little handle with bacon wrapped shrimp. I usually start with frozen shrimp, wrap the bacon around them, and then cook them. And what that ends up meaning is that the shrimp need to thaw and also cook through, which gives the bacon more time to crisp up. And so that is the technique that I use. However, for these Mexican style shrimp, they're stuffed with ingredients, which means I can't do the frozen shrimp trick because I need to be able to slice into them and add that stuffing, right? And so what I'm planning to do is something that I learned years and years ago from my mom when she was making ramaki. Do you remember ramaki? If you don't know what I'm talking about, it is spelled Rumaki, and it seems to have originated in Polynesian restaurants in the like 1950s, 1960s. It would be on poo-poo platters, if that sounds familiar. We used to have them at home. My mom made them. I didn't love them because they have chicken liver inside, but I would pop the chicken liver out and eat the rest. And it was basically chicken liver with a water chestnut wrapped in bacon, and then it had a soy sauce based marinade. And so the bacon would be crispy, and then I guess the idea is there's that soft bit of chicken liver and that really like crunchy water chestnut, right? So that was a whole thing, very retro. And now I'm tempted to kind of make them again, but maybe with a shrimp or a piece of chicken thigh, because I'm still not a huge fan of chicken liver. But I think that like crunchy, kind of fresh tasting water chestnut with the rich, crispy bacon and then a little bit of soft meat in there, that sounds kind of amazing. Anyhow, I'm not doing that now. What I am doing is the trick that my mom used to use to make her ramaki. So she would cook the bacon on a sheet pan for a short time or in a skillet for a short time until it was like half cooked. Still pliable, but as cooked as possible while still being pliable. You still want to be able to move it so it's not crisping yet, but most of the fat has started rendering out, okay? Now, I have also done this before in the microwave. So you put your bacon in like a single layer on a plate in the microwave and you just cook it until lots of the fat is gone, but it hasn't started to crisp yet or hasn't started to get firm, so you can still wrap it. So then what I'm going to do is get all that bacon par cooked, and then I'm going to thaw my shrimp and butterfly them down the backs, and I'm putting some Monterey Jack cheese in there. I really love the Oaxaca cheese that we had when we were in Mexico, but my grocery store does not have it. So I'm doing Monterey Jack, but I'm buying it in a block and I'm cutting a piece off to put in there because you don't really want it shredded because it's going to melt too quickly. You want like almost a cube, but what's going to fit inside that butterflied shrimp so that it takes longer for it to heat all the way through to the middle. Also, if it's a chunk of cheese or a slice of cheese, it's going to hold together that little bit better than if it's shredded because it just has a little more like it is part of the same thing instead of a whole bunch of little parts, you know? So yeah, I'm going to go with the cheese. I'm going to go with just a little sliver of jalapeno. And I haven't decided about the ham. I can't remember if there was ham in the ones that we had this past spring break or if that's just from a long time ago. So I think I'm just going to do the cheese and the jalapeno inside that butterflied shrimp. And then I'm going to wrap half a slice of bacon around each shrimp and then put the shrimp on skewers. So it's kind of like through the tail, through the head, through the tail, through the head, through the tail, through the head of 3 or 4 of them onto a skewer. And those are going to go on a baking sheet in the oven. My plan is to do them at 425 degrees Fahrenheit and keep an eye on them so that they don't get too dark, the bacon doesn't get too crispy, and flip them if necessary. And then if I need to, I might turn the broiler on and just crank that heat from above to make sure the bacon gets nice and crisp. I should have also said that before I do any of that, I'm going to do a little seasoning mixture of chili powder and garlic powder, onion powder, maybe a tiny bit of smoked paprika, and I'm going to toss the shrimp with that. A little bit of salt too in there actually, but not too much because the bacon is quite salty, you know? So a little bit of salt in there, toss the shrimp in that seasoning mix, and then stuff them, wrap them in bacon and bake them. And we're going to have that with some rice and some sliced avocados and chopped up tomatoes, probably a little cilantro going on over there. And it's going to be a nice little festive Friday for us. And that is what I'm making tonight. Okay, I will be right back after the break, and I'm going to tell you about some exciting things going on in my kitchen this week. So yeah, busy days. My son's graduating from high school. We're making our summer vacation plans or finalizing them. I'm not going to tell you yet what we're doing. It's pretty exciting, but kind of elaborate. And well, anything could fall apart at this point. So I'll wait until we know more for sure. But yeah, lots going on over here, but also lots going on in my kitchen. This week, I am testing some of those mayonnaise-based salads. I am doing a tuna salad. Now, my goal for this canned tuna salad is I actually want to test a couple of different brands and like types of tuna to see if different ones taste better in the tuna salad. And then I once heard a long time ago that lime juice in tuna salad really makes it pop better than like lemon juice. So I want to try lime juice compared with lemon juice, and I want to do one with Dijon mustard in there and one without. And so I'm doing those comparisons for the tuna salad to see which one is best. And then I'm also doing a crab salad. You know, I love having that imitation crab in the fridge as just a quick, light, high protein snack. I always have a package in the fridge, and it occurred to me that I just always kind of eat it dipped in cocktail sauce. I just mix together ketchup and horseradish and dip those sticks of crab in there. And it occurred to me that I could probably do some other things with it. So I am starting with a crab salad, and we'll see how that goes. And maybe I will do some other things with it too. Now then, as to what is new on the website, there are 2 new recipes. There is a carbonara recipe, classic Italian, no cream in there, no peas in there. This one's made with pancetta and the eggs, Parmesan cheese. And I will tell you my favorite thing about this recipe is that I figured out how to perfectly reheat carbonara. So if you make too much, if you make a big batch and you want to have the leftovers, I have figured it out because you don't want to cook the egg or have the egg become like scrambled egg in there, right? So that is what I figured out. That is live on Cook the Story. And then the macaroni salad is live on the Cookful. This is my basic macaroni salad that then has all the different add-ins that you can do depending on what you love in your macaroni salad. That is live on the Cookful. I love when recipes that I've told you about, like the bits of creation, I've brought them up over the weeks or months, and then they finally come out and are live. I really like when that happens. And I think that's true with these 2 that I've told you about them for a while. So that's super fun. Okay. I will put the links to those recipes along with every other recipe that I talked about that has a link in the show notes for this podcast episode. Or you can head to cookthestory.com/ROTD and get it there. Everything there is arranged by date. So it is helpful to know that today is May 2nd of 2026. You see the date there, click, and it will take you to the page with all of the links that I talked about in this show. Super convenient. And if you enjoyed this show and want to hear more like it, you should search for Recipe of the Day wherever you get your podcasts and hit subscribe, follow, leave a comment. I appreciate it. I am Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, cookfor2.us, and from this podcast, Recipe of the Day. Hope you have a great weekend. Let's get cooking.